Peak game, man. Let's get into this Candace Owens podcast, man. Talking about fake wombs and stuff, man. Let's see what she's talking about. You dig?
Okay, so the state wants to disrupt your family life. I think that is abundantly obvious by now. The state wants to be your mommy, it wants to be your daddy, it wants to be the mommy and the daddy to your children.
Hey, she ain't never lied. That's big facts. The state want to be everything. That's why they all in your house. They want to know how many people stay in your house. They want to know everything. You know what I mean? They want to support you. They want to give you timeouts when you acting up. They want to discipline you. She ain't lying. Go ahead.
They have made this incredibly clear. And when we talk about science and the inventions and things that are happening, you start to realize that it's becoming, well, dystopian. You're not going to believe this, but on Friday, a German molecular biologist unveiled a new concept for the world's first artificial womb facility, Ectolife, which could incubate up to 30,000 babies per year. The biologist said, quote, "My new concept will be unveiled in early December, something that I have been working on for a while. The new concept relies on over 50 years of groundbreaking scientific research." Okay, so in case you are already like, that is concerning and I feel alarmed, I want you to know that it's only going to get worse when you take a listen to this video promoting this concept. Here you go.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered in...
Hold on. Bro, this look like the Matrix. Bro, y'all seen that scene in the Matrix when they was like incubating people and shit? Like, this look like the Matrix, bro. Whoa. Oh, man. Look at this, man.
Entirely by renewable energy. Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring. It's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications. With Ectolife, premature births and C-sections will be a thing of the past. Ectolife is designed to help countries that are suffering from severe population decline, including Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, and many others.
Pause. Bro. Nah, this ain't right. Japan? I thought... Look, this ain't right. They about to try to dominate the world and produce all white babies. Bro, they could take over the world with this. They could dominate. That's crazy. But who gon'... This is wild, man. This is wild.
The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. A single building can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year.
30,000 lab babies a year. 30,000 a year. Y'all do the math. Y'all do the math, man. 30,000 times, shit, 10 years, say a decade. 30,000 times 10. Boom. That is crazy. And terrifying. This is ridiculous, man. This is people who obviously I don't know, man. You trying to be God. You try to be God. Fuck being a parent. At this rate, you trying to be God. You trying to be God, man. Straight up. Straight up. You trying to be God.
That video goes on for 8 minutes, by the way, and it looks like something straight out of a sci-fi horror film.
Matrix.
So, yeah, Ectolife allegedly says that it's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications. That's always the sell, right? There's always a sell. Actually, we're just doing this because you want to help. Big Pharma always wants to help, guys. Science and Big Pharma always wants to help, and then it starts to get dark very quickly. And there's a lot of things that I want to say this.
If you have bursitis, if you have tendonitis, if you have any problems in your shoulders and your arm, stop listening.
I want to say this. This doesn't surprise me. I knew we were headed here. If you've been listening to this podcast or following me at all, I have been talking about how clearly obvious it is that the state wants to be able to decide when we can give birth, how many children that we can have. This sort of far concept of China and the one-child policy is going to arrive on American soil pretty soon. They're going to be saying, oh, well, you have to ask the state whether or not you can have children. And that may have sounded crazy, I think, maybe 10 years ago if I had said it. But now with everything that's going on, I think everybody listening to this show goes, okay, it is definitely a plausibility at the very least.
Definitely.
But what's concerning to me is how we got to this place. And there are so many different elements that play a part in it. First and foremost, the fear of pregnancy. That is something that I talk about all the time if you guys follow me in any capacity, how they are constantly seeding women with this idea that being pregnant and giving birth is something to be feared. And they treat women when they're in the hospital like they're dying because they're giving birth, right? This is what you must do. Your body doesn't know what to do. You need doctors at all times. You need interventions. There's something wrong with your baby as soon as it gets out. Thank goodness for these vaccines we're going to give to them that's going to keep your child alive, even though there's no sense in it. We know what's best for you, right? It is an industry that is run by fear. I would say that about the entire medical industry. It is an industry that earns its profits off of us being tremendously fearful. The second thing that I think has contributed to this is that there has been a disruption, an intentional disruption of maternal instinct. And this is what I fight culturally. They wanted to make the aspiration of being a wife and raising your children something bad, right? And this, I would almost blame feminism for solely, right? Because this is really state-run feminism. It's not true feminism. True feminism would be something that came from women. It would be natural, something that we aspire to know. Suddenly, the culture started telling us that it was really bad if you didn't want to stay at home and go to work, and that somehow the patriarchy was something to be fearful. You needed to be like men. These are kind of the ideas that they began to seed over time. And it's worked. You know, you talk to a lot of younger women and they say, I don't want to have kids. Where do you get that attitude from? What do you mean you don't want to have kids? It's almost something cool to say, I don't even know if I want to have kids. That's what women say. What do you mean you don't even know if you want to have kids? Procreation is so natural. And as I always say, if I see a woman in her early 20s and she's like, I'm not sure that makes sense, by the time you get to 30, something goes on. It really does. Biologically, it's almost like alarm bells start blaring and you can't even control it. It's physiological, it's biological, and you're going, I want to find a partner, I want to settle down, I want to have children. And then when you have children, you realize it's the greatest joy of life. It's what life is really all about. But me even saying that is weird, culturally weird, right? I am not fitting in when I say that. It's much cooler to say, I don't need no man. And I don't even know if I want to have kids. And that's kind of what's being promoted and seeded into the minds of young Americans. So that has played a significant role in that, as have a lot of, call it medical advancements, right? The pharmaceutical industry as a whole. I believe that there have been a lot of things that have contributed to infertility over time. They don't know why, right? Men had higher testosterone rates a couple of decades ago. The complete depletion, the utter depletion of testosterone rates over the last 2 decades should terrify everybody. What's happening to testosterone? We actually are facing a testosterone shortage if you look at the numbers, just in terms of the sheer numbers. But the same thing when it comes to women. Women are having difficulty having even one child becoming pregnant. Our parents, you just go back a couple of generations, our grandparents, my grandfather had 12 children. My mother was one of 9. When did this become so problematic? Well, you add that to the idea that you shouldn't even start a family until you're 35 and you have a career and you're earning this much money, all things that you're taught is the responsible way to first have a child. You close the window of opportunity on fertility, and then add that to the fact that people are struggling not only because of age, but because of contraceptives. I believe birth control pills very clearly contribute to that problem. Vaccines, I believe, very clearly contribute to that problem. An explosion of vaccines that we have had over the last couple of decades. The food, the hormones that they're putting into the food. There's no way, even though they say there's no way it's contributing, there's no way it's not contributing to all of the infertility issues that we're having. This has been slowly, by design, again, that slow ideology that they put into your head, and you go, oh, this is all normal. It's totally normal that my friends that are 28 are struggling to have one children. It's not normal. It's not normal. And it is ridiculous that we have begun to perceive that as normal. And so, of course, you have these individuals who then suddenly want to have children. Why not take the next unnatural step and say, I'm going to turn to the state, and they're creating a womb, and I'm going to give them money, and they're going to give me a child, right? It starts with IVF, which, of course, for people that have struggled to have children, have struggled with infertility, has been a scientific breakthrough. And where it's going to end is going to be an entirely artificial womb. Commercials like that, telling you that it's totally normal to just have an app and watch a scientific womb create your child and make your child perfect. Completely robotic, completely removed from emotion. And to me, it seems relentless, the invasion of big pharma into every area of our lives. But the greatest invasion, where they have ceded the most ground, or rather where they have gained the most ground, has been the psychological invasion on people, where people are starting to identify things that are normal as abnormal and things that are abnormal as completely normal. And of course, the last element of that would just be our overall reliance on the state, where we keep thinking and people keep believing that the state is here to create these solutions for us. So of course, just take the next natural step. Forget IVF. You don't even have to put the child in your stomach or in somebody else's stomach, because we've got a womb for that. It's very disturbing. It's really dystopian. And I wanted to share that with you guys because it's ungodly. That's why it is ungodly. It disturbs me on a spiritual level.
Super respect.
Thank y'all, man. Don't ask me no more questions about the group. This shit over with.